Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining today's training. I am your trainer for today, Carolina. Today, we're going to be reviewing good information around the dual eligible special needs plans. There's great information to be shared about how this plan or these types of plans benefit those clients that are eligible for them. And then we also want to talk about how does this benefit you, the broker selling this plan, right? Because it should work both ways. So we're going to be together about 20-30 minutes. It's a short and sweet presentation. If you have any questions or comments, go ahead and use that Q&A section that you see there on your screen. So let's get right into, let's talk about what is a DSNP, right? So that's how we hear it often referred. So dual eligible special needs plans. These are plans that are offered, they offer broader coverage to a specific limited population, okay? And what that means is that these DSNPs, this type of plan, they're very, very much tailored to the needs of this population, of this demographic. And we're going to get into those who qualify for it. So DSNP plans, the folks who are on DSNP plans, they do qualify for both Medicare and Medicaid, okay? So they do have to have both of these things to be able to consider a DSNP plan. Dual eligible people, they do fall into several Medicaid eligibility categories. And these are categories that have been determined already by CMS. This presentation, just so that you all know, it does have from time to time some live links. If you see here on my screen, it gives the option to click it because I am able to share this with you if you'd like it. And throughout the presentation, when you're reviewing it on your own time, you can pop into these links and go into a little bit more of a deeper dive on that topic that's highlighted, okay? So these Medicaid eligibility categories, this determines the type of DSNP plan that a client can enroll in, access to Medicaid benefits, and also the level of help that they can receive for premiums and cost sharing. So it's important to note that states may set up their eligibility categories differently, right? So you're going to see a list that's provided by CMS, but you will see that depending on the state that you're doing business in, there may be a little bit of a difference state to state. Not much, nothing too big there, but yes, you may see a little bit of a difference. All right, so DSNP qualifications. All right, so a client must, as we already know and discussed, qualify for Medicare and Medicaid. So off the bat, they have to have both of those things. They do have to be a U.S. citizen or a lawful resident. They do have to qualify for original Medicare. So that's parts A and B, if you're not familiar with that. But yes, they do have to qualify for original Medicare. They must meet the income and asset requirements for your state's Medicaid program. So again, you got to look into the state that you're doing business because a few of these things may differ state to state. And then lastly, they have to live in the service area where the plans are available, okay? So be sure that once you're working with the carriers that you're contracted with, that you check what are their enrollment rules, what are their requirements. So it's all depending on the plan that the client chooses, but you will also have to, on top of making sure that you understand your state eligibility, right, from state to state. Once you start working with these carriers, they also have their different, what they offer, different benefits, what their requirements are. So you're going to have to do a little deep dive into that once you start selling the plan for these carriers. Enrollment periods, not going to talk too much about it, right? I'm not going to go through the dates because I think at this point we should all know these enrollment periods, especially that we're right in we're knee deep in AEP. But same as any Medicare Advantage, you can enroll a client on a DSNP, on that dual eligible plan during the IEP, the OEP, and what we currently are in right now, the AEP, okay? But aside from that, let's forget about these enrollment periods. With a dual eligible special needs plans, there is a special election period, okay? And it can be triggered by a qualifying life event. If you're brand new to Medicare, maybe you haven't taken the Medicare 101 that we offer, but there is a special election period, and there's certain qualifying life events that allow for a client to be enrolled through an SEP, a special election period, okay? Becoming newly eligible for Medicaid or moving out of the service area, there's some examples that qualify for that. So keep in mind that with a DSNP plan, with this dual eligible plan, this is an enrollment opportunity that's all year, okay? You don't have to worry about certain dates, about making it to a specific deadline, about getting that application in on time. No. With a dual eligible special needs plans, that is a year-round enrollment. And what that means is that that is a year-round opportunity for you, the broker. Okay. So different types of DSNP plans, right? And these are, I think, relatively new. They haven't always been around, but there are different types of DSNP plans. The first one is the FIDE DSNP, so the FIDE Special Needs Plan. So one of the things that FIDE SNPs aim to do is combine services, okay? It's making it easier for the members to receive the necessary services without having to deal with multiple systems. So instead of going here, going there, talking to this company, talking to that person, or, you know, just so many different avenues that at times we know that our members need to take. With a FIDE, it's basically like a one-stop shop. That's the purpose of FIDE SNPs, all right? So these plans, they often focus on minimizing out-of-pocket costs for its members, and they also may qualify for higher payments from Medicare. So this is going to support enhanced care coordination and integration. So a few good points there about the FIDE plans. Also, with FIDE, they offer a little bit more of a holistic approach to healthcare for dual eligible. So there's definitely great benefits with this plan. So just to get a little bit deeper into it, get more specific on what these are. So these plans provide comprehensive coverage by integrating Medicare and Medicaid services under a single managed care organization. So again, that one-stop shop theory or idea of services. So starting in 2025, all right, these plans must operate with exclusively aligned enrollment. They must continue to cover primary and acute care services. They must also cover the following additional Medicaid benefits, okay? So off the bat already, they're gonna cover Medicare cost sharing, behavioral health services, home health services, and even medical equipment, supplies, and appliances, which we know that most members on these DSNP type plans, you know, medical equipment, supplies, appliances, they're things that are absolutely needed. So moving on to the second type of DSNP plan, it is the HIDE SNP, right? So HIDE, it's a bit different than FIDE, all right? It's kind of interesting acronyms there for these types of plans. So these are DSNP plans that provide coverage of Medicaid benefits through the actual DSNP plan or an affiliated Medicaid managed care plan, okay? So instead of integrating that Medicare and Medicaid like FIDE does, with HIDE, the coverage is gonna come through the actual dual eligible plan, or if not, you're gonna see it that it's gonna come from a Medicaid managed care plan, all right? So these are a little less integrated than FIDE, and you'll see that. These aim to provide a more unified and efficient healthcare experience for dual eligibles and ensuring that they receive the full spectrum of care they need. So really, if you really take a look at the big picture, they both want to do the same things. It's just the avenue of how the process is done and, you know, how many stops you may have to take to get what the member needs. So for members who are interested in switching from a HIDE to a FIDE or vice versa, maybe they're on a FIDE plan and they want to switch to a HIDE, they are able to do so. They just have to align the change with a Medicaid entity or agency. All right. So a little bit more about HIDE. Let's talk about it. These are plans, again, combine Medicare, Medicaid benefits through an MCO, that managed care organization. Less integrated than FIDE, just mentioned that. They must have a contract with the state Medicaid agency and include long-term services and support benefits or behavioral health or both. Okay, so they have to have a combination of that. They're managed by a single organization, and by combining the services, it's going to help with that out-of-pocket cost for the members. Starting in 2025, these plans are capitated contract with the state Medicaid agency, but they must cover the entire service area of the DSNP plan. All right. And you are going to have to as well talk to, excuse me, to the carriers that you are working with, right? Do they offer HIDE, FIDE? Again, every carrier is different in how they have their rules, their regulations, their qualifications. So I'm giving you kind of a foundation of what these plans are, of what a DSNP is, how it's helpful. But please, folks, remember that once you start with those contracts and working with those carriers, make sure that you're asking those questions and getting all the information that they have based on their plan. All right. So let's sum up the benefits of a client enrolling in a DSNP plan, because we want to let those clients know what they're getting with a DSNP, right? When you're talking to a client, when you're telling them about this opportunity or this eligibility that they have, you want to let them know this is what you're getting with this plan. This is how this is helpful for you, okay? And it's important that they understand those benefits. So with a DSNP, so let's talk about it. So there's lower costs, right? So DSNPs often have lower premiums, deductibles, and co-insurance compared to other Medicare Advantage plans. Again, it's that tailored idea of a plan. So we know, right, or they know that the folks who are eligible for this, they need the help financially at times as well, right? They have some things that they don't typically see when there's a member on a regular Medicare Advantage. So again, these are Medicare and Medicaid eligible folks. So that lower cost is extremely helpful. There's comprehensive coverage for these members. These plans typically include additional benefits not covered by traditional Medicare, such as dental, vision, and hearing services. This is also something that we see in most Medicare Advantage plans, but something very important and good for your clients to understand that they have available to them. Prescription drug coverage. So DSNPs include a Medicare Part D prescription drug coverage, which helps reduce the cost of medication. So it's already included. It's not a separate enrollment. So if they are on a DSNP, that Medicare Part D is coming along with it, okay? Care coordination. DSNPs, they provide enhanced care coordination, ensuring that members receive integrated and well-managed care across both Medicare and Medicaid services. So it's going to help them on both sides, not just Medicare, not just Medicaid, both sides. They're going to have managed care. There are additional benefits. So some of these plans are going to offer extra benefits like transportation services, fitness, and wellness programs, which are fantastic to have as a benefit, and also allowances for over-the-counter items. So you'll see that some plans, some carriers that you work with, they have maybe a monthly allowance for those OTC items for certain things that we really need sometimes on a day-to-day basis. So great benefits there depending on the carrier as well. And then lastly, there's support services. So these plans, they often include support for managing healthcare costs and day-to-day finances, making it easier for the member to navigate their healthcare needs, okay? So just very high level, kind of summing it up. I know it's not all of the benefits that come with a DSNP, but definitely these are some great points to take with you, some great talking points as well to share with your client. All right. And like I mentioned at the beginning, how about what are the benefits for you as the broker? Why should you sell a DSNP plan, right? Because we know how this benefits the member. We know how this benefits your client, but really what's in it for you as the broker? So great opportunity here, as I already mentioned. Approximately 12.5 million people are eligible for a DSNP. So imagine the opportunity that this brings for you across any of the states that you're doing business in. The list of eligibles, it also includes individuals under 65, so that's also expanding your client base. They provide extensive benefits, which makes them highly attractive to clients seeking an all-in-one healthcare solution, right? So because of these extensive benefits, people are interested in DSNP plans, hoping that they qualify. Most of them may qualify, but it is a very, very attractive plan. These plans often come with, as I mentioned earlier, lower premiums, deductibles, and out-of-pocket costs, which is a major selling point. I mean, talk to whomever who wouldn't want to pay less for such a great necessity or such a big necessity, right? And then there's an aging population and an increase in number of individuals that qualify for Medicaid and Medicare. So the demand is growing year over year. And I mentioned earlier on in this presentation with a DSNP, remember, it's that SEP, that special election period. You can sell all year, okay? You don't have to worry about any enrollment periods. You don't have to worry about any deadlines. It's an all year opportunity. And lastly, we've come to the end of this great presentation with great information around DSNP. But lastly, make sure that you get appointed. Agility, we have a long list of carriers we partner with. So please make sure that you're going onto our website and starting the process with those carriers you want to work with. Maybe you have already done that already. Maybe you still have a few left to go that you want to contract with, but make sure you're getting contracted so that you can start focusing on selling a DSNP plan and getting out there. Again, this is the end of this information for today, but if you would like this deck, I'm happy to share it with you. Just send me an email and I will send it over. I'll send you over the all the slides and you can review this at your leisure, take time with it, keep it safe, and just always refer back to it if you need some good information on it. So thank you everyone for joining today. Thank you for your time and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week.